College football season is closing in on us, and it is time to hand out some college football superlatives, a preamble, if you will, before week 0 of the college football season. And for that, we say hello to CBS Sports' Chip Patterson. Chip, we're handing out superlatives. This is a bit of a guessing game, but that's part of the fun of it. And at the top of the list, we always say, okay, who's going to be most likely to succeed? And one would think, okay, that's the team that you think is going to win the national championship. But it doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be a team that you think is most likely to succeed, maybe within the confines of its own context. So who do you got?
No, I'm talking the top of the mountain, Russ.
Ooh.
I'm talking about Narrative Street. I'm talking about now or never for the Penn State Nittany Lions, because a program that does not have a national championship since 1986, that has not really had a good run at one since they were undefeated in 1994. This Penn State team has everything in place for it to go and make a run at the national championship. And Russ, I am all in, because what Penn State has is a look that is very similar to Ohio State in 2024 and to Michigan in 2023. And what I mean by that is they've got experience that could be playing on Sundays that got together and chose to play on Saturdays. That players that said, you know, I might be a 3rd round pick, I might be a 4th round pick, but I'd rather come back, play for championships that I fell just short of, runner-up in the Big Ten, college football playoff semifinalist. Now I want to see if we can take that next step. And that kind of unique motivation, I think, is something that's empowering. Is Penn State #1 in my power ratings going into the season? No, but I do think Penn State is a top 5 team going into the season, and that experience will help them win it all. So most likely to succeed is the now or never Nittany Lions.
James Franklin, how about that? You got him winning the big one for the first time in state college for the Nittany Lions. Now, if they didn't, they would be the recipient of our next award, which is the biggest tease. And that's the team that's showing a lot of flash, a lot of promise. Their fan base is getting very excited. Traditions are popping all over the place, and ultimately, they're going to come up short. Who's yours?
Traditions are the key word, because we're talking about Texas A&M. We're talking about more traditions than I can even understand, more traditions than I can name. But this team is so talented, and I think that Mike Elko and his staff are fantastic in being able to set up their team to be successful on the season. But yet, what have we seen? Another year, another Texas A&M, Texas 8-4. And so as I look at the Aggies, they have been ranked in the preseason poll each of the last 6 years. You see what we've got here on the screen. Where do they finish? Unranked. So I think that for Texas A&M, I understand it might be an easy pick, but the fact of the matter is, while they do have great talent overall, while I do think their defense will be very well coached under Mike Elko, they've got a few too many games where in the coin flip situation, I lean to the other side. So I think Texas A&M starts in the top 20, but they probably finish unranked.
How about for an individual player? Travis Hunter, of course, Heisman Trophy winner at the end of last season. Who do you have as a rising star we should all be watching going into this season? And you can't say Arch Manning.
No, it's going to be Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson. The key here is that Johnson was hyped going into last season. Kansas State, a co-favorite to win the Big 12, but Johnson didn't deliver, especially in the biggest games of the season. Johnson had too many interceptions against opponents that they needed to beat to be able to go and win the Big 12. Russ, they went 5-4 in the Big 12. This was an incredibly disappointing performance, but maybe we were just a little bit early, because may I remind you that Joe Burrow started at Ohio State. He transferred to LSU, and in the 2018 season, Joe Burrow was a fine quarterback in the SEC. Avery Johnson was a fine quarterback in the Big 12. I'm not going to say Avery Johnson's going to have a Joe Burrow type season, but I do think it's worth considering. You need that extra year as a starter to really reach your ceiling.
All right, and the final one, of course, is subjective, but could have major implications, as A.J. Brown just revealed that he decided not to go to Georgia because he didn't want to wear black socks, because he didn't think it looked good with the black cleats. So being dressed well certainly means something. Who is your best dressed team of 2025?
Well, I just mentioned Joe Burrow, and I have to tell you, it's got to be LSU. I just think that the many different variations that LSU has are just so clean. I think it's so sharp. And I love the fact that we've got the Tiger and the LSU right there on the helmet. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's the yellow helmet or the white helmet. It always looks good. And frankly, nothing is better than LSU in any colors under the lights. So give me LSU for my best dressed superlative.
All right, you might get some pushback from several fan bases out there, but you can't go wrong with the Bayou Bengals right there. Chip Patterson, looking forward to the 2025 college football season with some superlatives. Thanks, Chip. All right, so week 0 coming your way on the 23rd of August. That's when it all begins with Farmageddon. Straight from Dublin, Ireland. Big 12 matchup between Iowa State and Kansas State. And our friends at CBS, that crew gets to go to Honolulu, Hawaii for week 0 as the Warriors take on the Stanford Cardinal at 7:30 p.m. Saturday night, the 23rd on CBS.